मेरे दोस्ती लायक कोई यार नहीं, मेरे दुश्मनी झेल सके ऐसी तलवार नहीं.
Welcome back to my channel streaming with Swadhin, and today I'm in South City. So today I'm going to watch KGF 2. So after watching the movie I'll let you know how it is. So
बिजनेस करेंगे. ऑफर क्लोजेस सून.
finally the wait is over and I have finally finished watching KGF Chapter 2. After a long time I saw such a huge crowd in multiplex for this movie, and I saw that over there the back-to-back shows were all packed theaters, and they were running like 14-15 shows in a day, and they have like 5-6 screens, and they were all packed, and you can imagine the buzz over there in the theater, and the crowd. It was amazing to watch. I didn't saw such huge crowd in for a very long time, and so you guys can imagine that how much people are excited for this movie, and they are running only the Hindi version here in Kolkata, and so I think this movie is probably the biggest and the most successful Indian movie of this year. There is no doubt about that. Looking at the crowd, I feel that this has to be the most successful movie. And if you remember last time while watching Attack, I told you that maybe that movie will not work, and seeing the crowd. So this time I think that this is the most successful movie of this year. I have a feeling about that. Now first I will talk about the non-spoiler, then I will talk about the spoiler parts, which I will before that I will let you know, and finally I also talk about my take on the ending of the movie, because the ending of the movie is a bit confusing and people have a lot of confusion. So I will just give my prospect about the ending of this movie. And before I start, don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video, and do subscribe beside my channel by hitting the subscription button, and beside that there is a bell icon. Hit the bell icon for notification, and you can also follow me on my social network pages like my Facebook page, Instagram and Twitter. The links for the same will be given below in the description box. So I liked and I enjoyed this movie a lot, but I also noticed that there were some continuity issues, and there were some character development issues in this movie, which I will speak later in the spoiler section. So in case people who have seen the movie, they will know what I'm talking about, but in case people who have not seen, they can watch the movie and then they come back. The action-packed scene and the face-off between Sanjay Dutt and Yash was highlight of this movie, as I expected while watching the trailer also, that Sanjay Dutt and Yash face-off would be the most interesting part about this movie, and it was really very exciting to watch. The background music was good. Editing was a little confusing at times, and there was a bit of an issue which I will again talk later. The way certain scenes suddenly cut off and keep flashing at times, it's a bit distracting, and there's at times there is an action going on and they just cut off to that scene and then they go here there. It was a bit of a confusion. Anyway, if you compare this movie with Bollywood movies, then I think the reason why movies in the South India are getting more success, because maybe I feel that they don't care so much about the multiplex audiences or even for the overseas audiences as much Bollywood cares. If we see the last 3 most successful movie from the South in recent times, it's Pushpa, RRR and KGF Chapter 2, and all 3 movies are almost 3 hours long, while Bollywood is often reducing run time to 2 hours or 1 hour 45 minutes or 2 hours or maximum 2 hour 15 minutes like Hollywood, to get the overseas audiences. And to get more shows in theaters and to impress the multiplex and the overseas audiences, which I feel is going a bit against them, because in the kind of movie Indian audiences like and the kind of movie India make, and the heroes of these movies are very normal and regular guys, and when they are doing ordinary guys doing extraordinary things, it's amazing to watch. But in Bollywood, it's difficult to remember when is the last time we saw a story about a common man or a regular person like anybody. So when in South Indian movies we see our heroes doing extraordinary things, then as an audience we all feel like somebody from us is doing it, and as a result people can identify with the character. And I think that is a reason why South Indian movies are getting so much success everywhere compared to other movies. And I also feel the South Indian movies heroes are not always perfect. They have lots of fault in their character. While making their character, they often makes them really very multi-dimension at times, like the way they behave with women, or they do stuff like smoking, drinking, etc. While in Bollywood, lead actors are often unnecessarily burdened with morality issues and all, like in recent times we have seen many Bollywood actors chewing chewing gum and all those things because they don't want to show smoking scenes and all. They can show smoking scenes, but they don't do that because they feel that it's morally wrong and all, which I feel is a bit of a burden, unnecessary burden. And I think that makes a big difference. I don't really think that people start doing wrong things watching movies. It's very silly to think like that. This movie reminds me of several Bollywood movies from 80s. One of the movies that I remember, I can think of at this moment, is 1989 movie named Mujrim, which stars Mithun Chakrabarti and Madhuri Dixit. And that movie also, this movie reminds me of that movie a lot. But that was not such a huge movie or such a big movie. The story was also quite different, but somehow it reminded me. This is a huge, big budget movie for Indian standard, and I can, as I said, even before that, the budget is less than almost 1/10 of what Hollywood spend on their big budget movies. And so with the money, I think the KGF did a great job with this movie, and it was a great and wonderful and great theater experience that remind me of the kind of movies I watched and grew up in 80s and 90s. And there was lots of even RRR and now KGF. It reminds me a lot about the kind of movie I used to watch. Even Pushpa for that reason too. Now, I feel I really enjoyed this movie a lot. So if you have not watched the movie and you don't want to get into the spoiler, you can stop the video now. But if you have watched the movie, you can continue with that. And now I'm going to the spoiler, so people who want to skip the video can stop over here. So this movie starts with showing that a previous narrator is in hospital and he's almost dying, and his son, played by Prakash Raj, comes and he starts saying the story, because the previous actor who was narrating the story, he actually didn't agree to do KGF 2. There were some differences, so they somehow managed that part. To be honest, I think I still like the narration of the first part, the way it was narrated. I like that more than this part. Anyway, then we get into the flashback of KGF, and there again I'm confused about the character of Srinidhi Shetty. If you remember, in my KGF 1 review, I also said that the character of Srinidhi Shetty is very confusing. In the last part, she was calling Yash her lover. The Hindi word in the dubbing was Ashik, which means lover. And in this part, she's again very angry and unhappy seeing Yash alive and whatever he has accomplished in his mission. And I was really confused and her character remained the most confusing aspect of this movie. And then Yash decided to abduct her and for entertainment, and then decided her to and then he tries to impress her, which was a very weird way of saying, particularly in 2022. This is the way like 80s and 90s they used to show this stuff, but in 2022 nobody does that kind of character development with actor and actresses. And later Srinidhi even fall for Yash. I mean that the entire characterization seems extremely confusing to me. Although at present time showing female characters being abducted like the heroes in 80s and 90s style itself is very questionable. But that's for the sake of argument, if we accept it that the Yash character is a faulty character, then we can accept it. But the thing is that when in the first part they ended that's showing Shetty fighting for Yash and calling him his Ashik, which means lover, then why she's again angry with him in this part? It's very confusing, and that remained the most confusing part anyway. Sanjay Dutt was a great addition, I think, and I was really excited to watch Yash and Sanjay Dutt going at each other, and those were the best moments of this movie. But I wish that there was a little bit more character development for Sanjay Dutt's character. But that's I am saying this maybe because I'm a big Sanjay Dutt fan. He was given a character of a villain, but I still feel that a little bit more could have shown for Sanjay Dutt. He's such a great actor, and definitely I wish that Sanjay Dutt gets more work now so that we can see more of Sanjay Dutt. Raveena Tandon plays the Prime Minister of India. Unlike Hollywood movies where we see where Indian audience, they are used to seeing their president fighting with aliens in movies like Independence Day or fighting with hijackers in Air Force One. We Indian audiences are not used to seeing a Prime Minister on screen so often. Usually fictional movies never go showing a Prime Minister. They usually just stop at showing Chief Minister as corrupt or something like that, but they never go and show Prime Minister. But anyway, Raveena Tandon was good, and whatever she did in this movie, and again this movie is all about the character of Rocky and his journey. And again, the movie director dedicated several scenes in this movie also showing Rocky walking and showing swag, which is what audience wanted to watch and love watching. So he has managed to show that for like quite some time with the background music and everything, that Rocky is moving. And I didn't like Rocky's death scene so much. The way it was executed, I didn't feel the emotion for Rocky. I thought I should have felt more emotional because but I didn't feel the emotion because I've watching Rocky for such a long time, and now the lead character is dying. The audiences should feel more emotional, but I'm not sure that audiences will feel that emotion that much. In this movie, again, the mother's characters has been retained, and here mostly he remember his mother when he's in deep trouble or pain, and here mother's memory kind of give him a healing touch, which is very different from the way the mother's character was portrayed in KGF chapter 1. In KGF chapter 1, whenever he remember his mother, when he is in he's in action or he's trying to take any decision, he remember his mother, that what she had taught her, and she remember her philosophy and her teachings, and he act on those philosophy and teaching. but in this movie it is slightly different, but it was still good because they didn't repeat that, they made it a little different, but it was still very good. Overall, I enjoyed this movie, and I think this is a great movie to watch in theater, in big screen. The audiences were cheering and shouting for the hero, and it's great to watch. This is definitely a comeback for Sanjay Dutt after he's spending few years in prison. He returned back, and he was wanting a hit movie, and the color and the color gradation and the dark atmosphere of this movie was again wonderful. Visually, it's a great movie to watch. The visual is amazing, and of course the great one-liner. Almost every character says some great one-liners, which is something that audiences who watch movies in 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, they would know that what is a one-liner in Indian movies and how they are delivered. And this movie had some great dialogues. And talking about the ending, I think Rocky is alive, and they will show that there are some trick how Rocky planned everything, and they already dropped a hint by talking about the American Navy and the Indonesian Navy being present at that time, and the Prime Minister is confused at why they were there, and they got some secret files, etc. So ending was very not very satisfying for me. I feel they should have shown how he survived, but they kept it in a kind of a cliffhanger, showing that he survived or not survived. I enjoyed the experience of watching KGF Chapter 2. They tried to make it a nice, entertaining masala movie like we used to watch in 80s and 90s, and packaged it in a big way to upgrade in 2022 in terms of technology. Like visually and technologically, they upgraded it a lot, and so the rating for this movie is 8 out of 10 from me. That's the rating. And do write down in the comment section that what do you think about this movie. Did you like it or you didn't like it? Do write down below in the comment section, and if you have any suggestions, do write down below, and in the comment section let me know. Thank you for watching this video. Be safe, take care, and cheers.
KGF में गरुड़ा को मारने के बाद क्या हुआ, आप पढ़ेंगे?